How much of the world do you think is a lie? How much of what we all think that we know for a fact is a lie?
The engineer in me wants to give you a percentage or a numerical number. The reality is that the lies are built into our society. How many times have you heard that hard work pays off, and yet you know plenty of people, just like I do, who work their asses off and got nothing but screwed their entire lives? Or, good people get rewarded. No, good people usually get punished, at least relatively early in their lives, as a way to build their character. And even if not, how do they handle defeat? How do they handle struggle? Struggle is very revealing of a person's real character, and saying, oh, you're struggling, you must not be good, is one of the most asinine beliefs I've ever heard. We also conflate forgiveness with redemption, or I forget the other words, but most people, if you say, hey, what does it mean when you forgive somebody? They think, oh, well, we're talking again and we're seeing each other and we're reconnecting. And yet, for me personally, thanks to Captain Brad Geary, and for you, thanks to some of the people in your life, I understand now that forgiveness is about letting go. It's taking all of the toxic emotions and corrosive thoughts and feelings and letting them go. And you may never tell the person that you need to forgive, that you forgave them. You may need to forgive yourself. But we have this ridiculous lie that almost everyone believes, that forgiveness means reconciliation. That's not what forgiveness means. And that has to change. There's so many more, and I would have to sit down and really put some thought into, like, is there a way to make it a list of all of them? But the lies are structural. And when you have lies as the basis of your society, no wonder everything is chaos. I'm going to keep harping on the first two books of the Bible, but in this case, Exodus especially. You have to take a step back and understand everyone in the Hebrew people in that group of it's 600,000 military age males, so probably 1.2 million at least, maybe more. But, let's call it 1.5 million people that leave Egypt during the Exodus. Everyone in that group was supposed to be a believer. Every single one of them. And if you weren't, if you blasphemed, you either got killed or exiled. Like, that was a society where everybody saw the same storm cloud on Mount Sinai. Everybody heard the voice of God. Everybody ate the manna. And so when you have a society like, sorry, I'm getting distracted. When you look in the start of Leviticus at what things are sins and what are you supposed to atone for them and how are you supposed to atone, you realize that there's still rich and poor even in that society. And lying to somebody without realizing that you're lying to them is a sin worthy of, a cow or a ram or a goat or a dove, or if you're really broke, 2 quarts of flour, give or take. It was enough of a punishment that, like, you couldn't afford to keep doing that. It was a painful enough lesson that you stopped lying, and it created a society of people who are deeply introspective, because if somebody else points out your sin, well, then crap, you have to go and atone for it. But if you can catch yourself doing it before anything happens, then you don't have to sacrifice that firstborn goat. You don't have to sacrifice that dove. It's way cheaper to just be good. And it creates a society where it is very, very hard to have lies become the foundation of your society. Does that stop it? No. Why do you think the temple got destroyed? Why do you think they got ran out of the land of Canaan? Like, they are really stiff-necked and hard-headed people. Really, really. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at is, yes, you're correct. There is this tug and pull of, this side is winning, this side is winning, everything's trying to become more and more lying. Yeah, because if you can make the lies part of the structure of the society, then it becomes exceedingly difficult to tell the truth. Most people don't know it was illegal to not be a Nazi. Like, if you lived in 1939 Germany and you weren't part of the party, you were a criminal. Think about that. That's maybe not a lie per se, but if you want to speak out against what the party holds dear, you have to accept the lie. Louis Rossmann calls it accepting the premise of an asshole. That is definitely accepting the premise of an asshole. I agree with the party. I am a party member, but here's the problems that I see with the party. Dude, no. Like, at some point, you can't change things from the inside. And it took multiple countries beating the crap out of them for them to change. So, like, yeah, that's a thing.